We must unite now. We must have one army. We must have one currency. We must have one foreign policy. We must be united. And I can hear the Osagyefo saying, I do not want to be the leader of that country. I simply want unity. And I'm saying that we must live here with one united government. They listen not to the Osagyefo. I can still hear those immortal words of the Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah telling his Ghanaian peoples that the independence of Ghana means nothing if the rest of Africa is not independent.
Welcome back to the leading all in the city Yano Show KE. So guys, I just want to give a clap for the new subscribers that are following me. So today I just have an interesting story. Africans are now waking up, and we think that Africans are there calling for Africa to unite. We see the like of PLL All Lumumba telling the Africans now it's time to wake up. And we see that the president of Namibia has also come out clearly to urge Africans to unite. So there is a call from every corner of the Africa saying that they should come together, and they are also urging the African Union to do its mandatory to unite Africans. So I don't know what your take. Will this call manage to unite all Africans through the various countries, or what is your take on this? The call of people like the likes of PLL Lumumba calling Africans to unite. So, in case you have any comments, let us read there in our comment section. Let us view your reaction on this this. And if you're new here, just don't pass away. Just subscribe, like, comment, and share.
We must unite now. We must have one army. We must have one currency. We must have one foreign policy. We must be united. And I can hear the Osagyefo saying, I do not want to be the leader of that country. I simply want unity. And I'm saying that we must live here with one united government. They listen not to the Osagyefo. I can still hear those immortal words of the Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah telling his Ghanaian peoples that the independence of Ghana means nothing if the rest of Africa is not independent.
Why are we still going to the United Nations as Africans? That is a useless entity. It's not for us. The largest voting bloc in the United Nations are the African nations. We don't have a seat on the table. Why do we go there? We go to the United Nations to vote on their issues. They pay African countries. Yes. Oh, vote with us on this issue. Vote with us on this issue. Mm-hmm. We have no business going to the United Nations, period. Right. We need to tell Secretary Guterres, thank you very much, but we're no longer going to attend United Nations. It's not our entity. Until we have true representation there. Goodbye.
Right.
That is true.
Sure.
With every engagement with the West.
Right.
For example, Zimbabwe and many other African countries, the remains of our ancestors who they murdered are still sitting in jars in their countries. Why are we going to engage them?
Right.
We want those remains returned with repercussions. Right. Until that's happened, everybody from your country out. If you were former Portuguese colony, all Portuguese, get out of my country. I love it remember when there was this rift between President Mugabe and Prime Minister Tony Blair. And Blair was like, we're coming to take all the British out of Zimbabwe, we're airlifting them. And the response to President Mugabe was, listen, I've given all my police and military that if you see any British citizen that wants to get out, escort them to the nearest exit point. Get out. If we can just make that position, your government is abusing us. Your government is refusing to give us back our ancestors, the remains of our ancestors who they murdered. Your government is refusing to give us back our artifacts, precious artifacts, priceless, that they stole. Until these wrongs, these blatant wrongs are righted, Every British citizen get out.
Right.
Every Portuguese citizen get out. Every German citizen get out. See how quickly things will
They'll
change.
move from there.
It is those citizens who are going to now go to their government and say, we didn't know you were doing that.
Yeah.
Let me make this point clear. The citizens do not know of the crimes that are being committed by their governments.
Right.
So let's put the power back to the people. Let's remind the people that every constitution starts with we, the people. So let's make those citizens, they must succeed in their civic duties.
Right.
We, the people, are the ones who are failing. Let's come together. Let's understand the issues. And so for those of us who are elders, who are in the know, we have a responsibility to educate and to inform. Once the citizens are empowered with knowledge and the understanding of what is really going on, I do know for a fact the average citizen of the world wants a righteous world, a world that is free of hate, racism, bigotry.
Right.
That's what the average citizen wants.
And again, not to sound too conspiracy, but you know, white supremacy is a real thing.
Absolutely, I agree
right?
with that, yeah.
And their whole purpose is they fear going extinct, right? So
Always they feel.
our genetic capabilities puts us in a position to erase them, right? So, you know, they established white supremacy through slavery. They maintain white supremacy through institutions and laws, right? They expanded through appointed leadership over those institutions, right? Then they refined it through media, technology, and food. So we're dealing with all these things, which is the whole goal is just to destroy us and make sure we're incapable of coming into power.
But the amazing thing is, I agree with you, the amazing thing about us is that we adapt and we always seem to overcome it, even though it's 95% that falls under that tutelage of what they set up.
I think that what was done to brainwash black people around the world, long before they even left Africa, we are still suffering from that legacy of colonization, the legacy of slavery, where the people in power, they themselves don't believe they can do it. We still have leaders who believe you can't make it unless you're working with white people. We have individuals who think only something brought in by white people is what's likely to succeed. With that kind of mentality, it is a very difficult battle. Our battle to succeed, to unite as the African continent, it is a battle of the mind. And each and every African must realize that we are defeated where it matters the most, which is the mind, brainwashed to the core.
Our problem has been, as black people, we've always been concerned about white America, never about us. And what we've always thought is that white America equal the same interest as us. That is not true. We must now be concerned with us. Let me give you some examples. We always want to prove what good Americans we are. The very first man to die for the War of Independence in this country was a black man named Crispus Attucks. Crispus Attucks. He was a fool. Because here he was dying for white folk freedom, and millions of his brothers were enslaved in the very country.
The problem with Africa is that those who have ideas have no power, and those with power have no ideas. And that in many ways still informs. So you have all these ideas on how we can green Africa. I listen to you and I can see you are bubbling with ideas, but you don't have the power. And the fellow with power has completely no idea.
The Organization of African Union created on May 25th, 1963 in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, was part of an effort to circumvent efforts by Kwame Nkrumah to build a single union of African states. And instead, we come up with an Organization of African Union that codified the colonial borders that were created by Europe in 1884 and 85. We have to be able to break out of this, but it's going to take revolution in order to do this. African revolution in order to do this. African revolution that will destroy imperialism, and the world economy that's responsible for the growing immiseration of the masses of people around the world. Uhuru.
When you have an enemy that keeps on changing like the chameleon, you also must have the habits of the chameleon. The African enemies are chameleonic in their behavior. We too must be chameleonic in our desire to survive.
This African Union now. There is no time to waste. We must unite or we perish.
We unite or we perish. I want to apologize to Kwame Nkrumah.
Fighting for Kenya as a country, but fighting for Africa as a continent. Africa has been under colonization since time immemorial, since time and again. As the powers left, they left specific families in powers, thinking they would control the entire African continent. But time has come. Kenya is proving we can be able to pave a way for change, and change is coming. I tell you, change is coming. Wave of change is coming to Africa, and this is just the beginning. I am ready to die. Today is my birthday. Happy birthday to me. I'm ready to die on my birthday. As a 23-year-old kid, on a day nikamilishe masiku zangu na nikufe kama nina miaka zangu. What's your name? My name is Sydney Arisi Mugasia. I run a company, Lodon Consultancy Firm. My workers are at work. At the moment, they're telling me, boss, fight for us. Boss, fight for us. And I will fight for them. I will die for them. That's all I have to say. Penny wengine coverage.